In the magazine this week, we laid out the argument for why your future self is operating as a rival to your present life. But today, I really want to talk about and also take a look at the psychology and the theology of why so many of us, as brilliant, faith-filled women, are quietly miserable while doing all the right things, okay? And the thing is that we live in a culture that has sanctified preparation. We go to therapy, we buy the planners, we study, we improve, and we do the 40 and 75 day, protocols, okay? We tell ourselves that we are being disciplined or that, we're simply just in a season of growth. But if we are really willing to look at this with complete honesty, we have to really ask ourselves a hard question. And at what point did self-improvement stop being a tool for stewardship and actually start becoming a shield to protect us from being seen? Psychology has a term for what we are experiencing. It is called the arrival fallacy. It is the cognitive trap of believing that once you reach a specific destination, whether that is a weight on a scale, a revenue target, a marriage, a title, okay, you will finally achieve lasting peace, confidence, and permission to live, right? So we convince ourselves that the future version of ourselves who reaches that particular milestone won't feel anxious, oh, that version of me, she won't feel insecure. No, she'll be, she'll never feel awkward at the door of her Kairos opportunity. This brings us to an even deeper psychological issue, which is known as identity fusion with a phantom. Okay. We have built a relationship with an imaginary version of ourselves. This woman, she's flawless, honey, okay? She wakes up at 5 a.m. without hesitation. She drinks her water. She handles conflict with total poise, right? She never carries doubt because she lives entirely within your imagination. She never has to deal with the messy reality of being a human in a fallen world. And the moment that you begin to compare your actual breathing, tired present self to this fictional phantom, okay, your present self loses every single time. You treat your current life like a failure simply because it is happening in real time with real constraints. And the future self has become a bully, okay, keeping you out of your own life. Now, when we look at this through the lens of scripture, the root cause becomes crystal clear. This is not just a mindset issue. It is really a spiritual issue that is rooted in hidden theology of scarcity. I would love for us to take a look at Exodus 16. And this is where the Israelites are in the wilderness and God provides manna from heaven every single morning, but he attaches a very specific command to it. Gather only what you need for today. Do not try to store it up for tomorrow. And what did the Israelites do? Out of fear and anxiety, some of them tried to hoard it. They tried to collect extra manna and stash it away so that they would be guaranteed provision for the next day. As scripture says, the hoarded manna, it rotted, it bred worms, and it began to smell. Now, why did they hoard it? They hoarded it because they did not trust God's grace would actually meet them again in the morning. They trusted their own storage closet more than they trusted the character of the God that they served. And this is exactly what we are doing when we actually put our lives on layaway. We hoard our gifts, creative ideas, our joy, our rest, resources, and instead of pouring them out today, we try to hoard them for a future season. And when we think, we do it for a time when we think that we'll be more deserving and more secure, right? We treat our energy and our calling as if it is finite, right? Something that we have to manage and preserve. But when you hoard what is meant to be lived and poured out today, it rots. It turns into resentment, exhaustion, stagnation. Your delay then is no longer wisdom. It is a lack of trust in present grace. We miss God when we only look for him in the future version of ourselves. And in Exodus 3, when Moses stands before the burning bush and asks God, who he should say sent him. God does not say, I will be, right? I will be when you're ready. He says, I am who I am. God reveals himself in the present tense, right? He provides daily bread, new mercies every morning, and present tense grace. The thing is that when you spend all your emotional and spiritual energy attempting to negotiate with the future version of yourself, you are really trying to meet God in a location where he is not operating. He is not meeting the phantom woman of tomorrow, right? He is meeting the woman who is standing in this very room, in this moment right now. And this is why Jeremiah 29 is so profound when you really read it within context. Okay, so we love to quote Jeremiah 29:11 about God having a plan, to give us a future and a hope. Okay, but if you look at what God commanded the Israelites and the verses right before it, right before that promise, they were living in exile. They were in a season that was uncomfortable, They were displaced and they were in a place not where they had chosen, right? They were waiting for the exile to end so that they could finally get back to real life, right? But God spoke through Jeremiah and told them, build houses, live in them, plant your gardens, eat their produce, take wives and have sons and daughters, seek peace. Seek the peace of the city where you are, He was telling them, stop deferring your existence until conditions improve. Stop putting your life on pause until the exile ends. Inhabit the present fully, right now, in the middle of the transition, with the body, the resources, and the reality you currently have. The command was not to wait for arrival of something. The command was to be here now. And if God does not treat your present self like a rough draft, you have no right to treat yourself like one either. Self-improvement as growth is truly beautiful. It honors the capacity that God has given you, but self-improvement as a prerequisite for living life is a trap. It allows you to look disciplined while quietly avoiding the risk of being seen as you actually are. You do not need another protocol before you are allowed to actually occupy your life. You do not need to wait until the house is finished, your body is smaller, or the credentials are all lined up, right? The present moment is not holding your best life in a vault. It is consuming it, Every year you stay in the waiting room is a year of actual presence that you do not get back. So before you turn this off and you move on to the next thing on your list, I want you to sit with this. What are you hoarding out of fear that God will not give you enough grace for tomorrow? What part of your actual current life are you refusing to inhabit because, you're holding out for a phantom who does not exist. Give the woman that you are today what belongs to her. Let the woman of tomorrow wait her turn, because the woman of today is the only one who actually exists, and she has a life to live right now. This episode is brought to you by On the Line, a magazine and conversation for women who want more and are truly willing with God to become more. Until next time, occupy your life. Bye for now.